It was the sudden appearance of a warp storm at the Firaeveus system's outer edge that first caught the attention of the Imperial, and not just the Imperial. After hundreds of years under the neglectful watch of the Imperial Guard, nearly every force in the galaxy would descend upon the planet of Caerys, bent only on domination and victory. Three races had long dwelled in there. The Imperial Guard, its supposed rulers, the Orc tribes of Caerys, which the Guard had never successfully put down, and the Necron, who had slept undisturbed for untold millennia beneath Caerys. Where the Chaos Marines came from, or how, none can say. Did the Warp Storm bring them, or did they bring the Warp Storm? Both appeared suddenly on Caerys 4, and in an eye blink, half the system's Imperial forces were gone, killed or claimed by the madness of chaos. In quick succession, the others flocked to Caerys. The Space Marines, the Imperium's super soldiers, descended on Caerys, planning to finally cleanse the system, both of the troublesome Orcs and the Chaos Marines, their sworn mortal enemies. The Tau appeared next, not far above, on one of the planet's moons. In the interests of protecting its ordered empire from the effects of human folly, the Tau came seeking to contain the Warp Storm, and in so doing, expand their territory's border. On their moon, they built a mighty fortress, and there forged a space cannon capable of interplanetary devastation. Among the wastes of Caerys, the Necrons, perhaps awakened by the disruptive forces of the Warp Storm, slowly massed their lethal legions. In quick response, webway gates, long unused, flickered to life, and Eldar poured forth, ready to battle their dark, death-dealing adversaries. Meanwhile, in the shadow of an ancient portal gate, the dark Eldar slipped stealthily out of the murky depths of the webway. They would be like carrion birds, flying above the battlefield, and when all were weary from the fight, make the battlefield into a feasting ground. Last to arrive, and perhaps most to be feared, were the Sisters of Battle, holy maidens and bearers of the God Emperor's faith. They had come to cleanse the system of corruption and filth. Their faith left them fanatical, unafraid of death and solace in their cause. Nothing here was clean. All must be purged. Now, war rages anew, and only the victorious may write their history. Only the victorious will claim the planets of Caerys. The Dark Eldar little feared an attack on their base of operations, situated as it was on the dark side of the moon, well within the reaches of the Warp Storm of Caerys 4. The seventh ancient gate lay on that moon, but the Dark Eldar, knowing its technology well, had fixed it to work only for them when they had arrived there. The effect of this hubris and the general anarchic nature of Archon Tahril's soldiers resulted in a sprawling makeshift reproduction of Komorrah, the Dark Eldar home city. Surrounding the major war camp lay smaller camps, surrounded by miles of torture ground, a sort of cage garden of the homunculus Grumanael's making. Rich with plunder, enslaved scraps and goods, this area had grown and sprawled. Meanwhile, the center grew dense with powerful Dark Eldar and the legendary Asdrubael Vecht, leader of Tahril's Blackheart Cabal, was said to oversee the war preparations there. To say the Dark Eldar were unprepared for an attack would not be quite accurate. The Dark Eldar are ever ready for battle. It is a sport and a passion to their kind, and there is no such thing as catching them off their guard. Nonetheless, the miles of torture gardens were poorly attended at best, and full of prisoners, many still capable of turning against their captors. For an attacker, there was a faint glimmer of hope.
We are fresh from the fight. We have shed blood. Death, terror, and anguish sang sweetly in our ears.
But Lord Tahril, have you taken prizes?
Do you doubt me, Gruminea? Many prisoners were taken. We have our tribute to Comora, and many left over from our slave chambers, and your torture grounds.
Come, Archon! Come to my torture grounds. We win, we lose, win and lose. But always richer, richer with slaves and spoils.
Indeed, we shall be well respected and rewarded when we return to Comora.
When we return, if we return. Return the victors, or return the vanquished. My grounds, where screams are flowers, and pain their fragrance. A fine, fine nest we have, high upon the cliff, hard to see, harder still to reach. Will they reach this nest? Will they take away my garden?
Are you questioning my right to lead? My inevitable victory? I am the deadly shadow and the bird of prey. I am the poisoned dagger that brings swift death. These crude and foolish armies know nothing of strategy. If they see a wall, they attack it. If they see an army, they charge at it. They will be too busy with each other to notice us. Or if they do, it will be too late. Worry not. And it is of no matter, we keep a keen watch. If an army approached, surely we would see it coming. Then we would tear it to pieces.
Taking my men and put them in cages like pets. Come, free our brethren. We shall grow our numbers until they cower before us. There's a cage! Right there! Break it!
Wow, look what escapes from its cage.
The weak fight back!
Now it shall die!
Lord Carron, I saw two guard camps. They are near here. We aren't strong enough yet. We shouldn't attack.
We grow. We are strong. The time comes for us to strike. My minions. Worms! Build our camp, or you will wish you were back in that cage.
These little ones are dangerous.
Lord Tahril, enemies have infiltrated by way of the torture gardens. How is this allowed to happen? I don't know, Archon. They killed the guards. They amassed a force and will soon have a war camp established.
I see. I will inform Lord Vect. Have the soul cages readied. They shall taste the full fury of our powers. Lord Vect is here? On Makune? Yes, now go! The soul cages!
They have been allowed to get far too close to us. Use all the powers of our soul cages against them. I command it.
Yes, Lord Vect. It is better to use those souls and annihilate these upstarts.
Then go and see to it that you do not fail. I am displeased, Tahril. Heads shall roll. You fool! I will have your head for this. Quickly, back to Carron.
Well, if he had died, I should have taken his place. Now I must flee.
Rejoice in the coming oblivion! Destroy the weak! Annihilate them!
Chaos Lord Firaeveus Carron had grown weary of the pestilential nuisance of the Dark Eldar, and felt the time had come to crush them under the pitiless hammer of his Alpha Legion Chaos Space Marines. Had the Dark Eldar refrained from conducting raids on their chaotic comrades, they might have prospered in safety upon Carava IV's single moon. But alas, their time had come. The Archon Tahril's band of pillagers were no match for a full army of Chaos Space Marines. Unable to hide or run in their own base camp, the Dark Eldar fell before the invaders' fire. The Dark Eldar who were not slaughtered or fled found themselves subject to their vanquishers' cruel games. The heretic Chaos Space Marines made sport of their victims in the very cages and torture chambers in which their own brethren had been made to suffer. A just reward indeed, from the evil to the depraved. Once, there was a simple soldier who was ignorant that he possessed latent abilities as a psyker. Without training, he could not guard himself, and the gods of chaos whispered to him, driving him feverishly mad. They made him carry out certain plans, perform certain black rites, so that a terrible rift in space and time was forged. Chaos poured out. The Alpha Legion appeared, and the warm storm blossomed from the rift. The gods gloried in their deed. Led by Chaos Lord Firaeveus Carron, the Alpha Legion spread, slaughtered, and conquered. No force, not even the mortal enemies, the Imperial Space Marines, could withstand the wrath. 9 armies vied for the Caerys system, and Chaos proved mightiest of them all. The 4 Caerys planets now teem with the strange and twisted forms of Chaos. Demons walk openly, and the warp storm grows in size and strength. The Alpha Legion, under Lord Carron, make ready for a far greater war against their oldest and most hated of enemies, the Imperium of Man. More than any other race, the Eldar concern themselves with the distant past and the distant future. In visions, Farseer Caerys anticipated the reawakening of their ancient foes, the Necrons and Caerys III. A webway gate, unused for many millennia, flickered to life. In the blink of an eye, a barren tract of the wasteland planet became a sprawling base of operations, and the Eldar army poured forth from it. Just as quickly, this stronghold vanished from the naked eye, concealed by Eldar artifice. The Eldar had learned long ago that no bulwark, no matter how strong, could halt the slow, implacable progress of the Necrons. Only illusion, deceit, and misdirection could accomplish that goal. And these are things at which the Eldar are peerless. The Eldar had prepared a harrowing gauntlet for their invaders, with all the feints and deceptions they could muster. This stronghold was not just a foothold, not just a key strategic point, not just home to many Eldar secrets. No! Through its long history, it had become sacred to the craft world Eldar, and they would defend it accordingly.
They approach. We are prepared.
Yes, Farseer, but
Yes,
must we fight?
we shall fight. They must never suspect. They shall come, expecting the obvious, the simple, the artless. They shall stab at the shadows with confused minds and troubled hearts. Meanwhile, we shall appear unseen from 10 directions, and from every one, strike a fatal blow. Do you know the history of this place, which we call Esselir Talith and the young races call the Upper Wastes?
We, the Eldar, made our war camp here. In a past age.
Yes, that is so. Our ancestors came here to fight the Necrons when they were an overwhelming wave that swept the worlds. This system was one of their stages of destruction, their foundries of undeath. Our ancestors defeated them here. We constructed our war operations center here as an illusion. No brute army, no simple display of force could uncover its secrets, and none ever shall. No, it is more than an illusion. It is a clever trap, this place our ancestors forged. It is a net covered in leaves that the savage beast willingly stands on, tempted by a bloody morsel, only to find itself hoisted, trapped, at the hunter's mercy. No, we shall guard our secret. No force can strike a target it cannot find. We shall not yield up our foothold on this world. Caerys was once ours, and shall be ours again.
There, we gaze upon it, the stronghold of our false kin, the cowards. Let us move with deadly speed and silence, and blot out these fools from off this world. They are upon us, Farseer. Is it time?
Almost. Not yet. Now, quickly, to safety.
I see the Cabal fortress has been summoned. A slave, too. We should very quickly stay on the attack.
How little you understand the Eldar. You have stepped into our snare. Do not expect to escape it alive.
Gah! Run while you can, Caerys. I am angry now. I am faster than you, and when I catch you, your death will be slow and exquisite.
More horse fighters and rangers are needed on the field. Send word to their base camp, and have it down immediately.
Farseer, we have lost our ranger and warp spider facilities.
Their noble deaths will be honored. Only victory matters now. So, our Nightwing production has been destroyed. I see our many roads to victory growing fewer and more arduous. Yet, there is still hope.
The elite Shining Eagle squadron of Nightwings remain where they were assigned, Farseer.
Good. We must press on. Weary of firing at shadows and illusions, we will always elude you. Leave now while you can.
So, another hidden headquarters. Up to your old tricks, my cowardly kin. And you think that will stop us for long?
Archon! We have detected energy sources which can be nothing if not special field generators employed by our devious cousins. We have scryed several points of origin.
Farseer, they have disabled one of the illusion barrier devices.
Then the other ones must not fall.
You see, they have prepared a fool's promenade for us, with these support platforms lining the way. However, there may be another way.
Farseer, they have disabled the support platform array. The entrance is no longer protected.
Yes, I have seen this. Do not yet despair, my sister. They have not foreseen our every move.
Another illusion barrier was destroyed, Farseer.
I see. We shall prepare for the worst.
Cry out!
They have disabled all the illusion barriers. This should never have come to pass. We have few chances left. We must fight. We must prevail. Let us see how they deal with the Shining Eagles. They are no ordinary pirates. The squadron could not stop them.
We came here long, long ago. We did battle with our deathless foes, the Necrons.
And one. This day we have lost. If they swarm again like locusts here, some other must stop them. For we shall be gone.
Eldar do not easily forget. The dark branch of their kind, who many millennia ago had split from their craft-world cousins, still looked back on them with a kind of hatred that can only stem from personal betrayal. Since they had arrived in the system, Archon Tahril had kept a wary eye on the doings of the Eldar Farseer. Debased by nature, he could not restrain himself for long against the provocations of this ancient hatred. When he felt he was strong enough, he and his bloodthirsty raiding band fell upon the Eldar stronghold of Tanil, which the Imperium had named the Upper Wastes. Archon Tahril and Farseer Caerys were pitted one against the other, speed for speed, trick for trick, evasion for evasion. But in the end, it was the Dark Eldar who struck the final blow. The wild pleasure that his warriors took in defiling the captured Eldar was far greater than it could have been for any other race. Of course, the bulk of hostages were reserved for tribute to Tahril and his superiors. Yet, in spite of all his bounty, Tahril was deeply pained to learn that Farseer Caerys had escaped and might never be made his personal plaything. Still, the victory was great and would raise his standing among the Archons of the Blackheart Cabal. With the last major threat removed, the Dark Eldar were now free to roam through the Caerys system, pillaging and laying waste as they saw fit. Like gruesome locusts, the Blackheart Cabal darkened the skies with their vehicles, descending on territory after territory, laying claim to prisoners and other spoils. The speed and ravening hunger with which these raids were carried out was remarkable. Nothing could escape them. Nothing could outrun them. The keen senses of the Dark Eldar seemed to pierce all cover in search of their prey. It was not long before all Caerys was stripped bare and devoid of life. Back on the moon of Lacune, cages grew full of captives, and more cages were built. Archon Tahril and his master, Lord Vance, sat and supped goblets filled with the souls of their enemies. The homunculus Grumenael cackled gleefully over his victims. As the warp storm quietly disappeared, so too did the Dark Eldar vanish, returned to the webway, to rebel, then go in search of new, fresh worlds to pillage and enslave. The Imperial Guard's headquarters in the Dusala precinct of the city planet of Kaurava 1 was also the system's primary Baneblade production facility. Under the strong and capable leadership of the new Governor-General Vance Stubbs, the Guardsmen were once again well supplied, armed, and organized. Any attacker would find themselves facing a formidable amount of firepower. Since the outbreak of the warp storm on Caerys 4, The Imperial Guard had known a humbling series of setbacks. Losing a full 3/4 of their fighting men was just a start. General Stubbs was determined to triumph in the face of this and all other adversity. Unfortunately, a full regiment of Baneblade tanks, the Guard's armored superweapon, had that very day been dispatched to various territories throughout the Caerys system. The Dusala Precinct headquarters was thus left without a single Baneblade to its advantage. But they had their factories. Repair parts, munitions, and operating crews were moved via a system of convoys to the centrally located Mars pattern buildings, which produced the tanks. These convoys, then, were to be the Imperial Guard's weakest link, and also their greatest hope.
How are the men?
Tolerable, sir.
Morale?
Good at Central, poor in the front.
Casualties?
The same, sir.
Firing squads?
20 today, 12 for cowardice in the line of duty.
Baneblade production?
Tank crew, munitions and parts are arriving by convoy on schedule, sir. As you know, it takes only the most highly trained crew to properly operate a...
I know.
Very good, General.
How many do we have on hand?
Unfortunately, sir, a shipment of 100 Baneblades has just gone out to serve.
I see. Look at this. Once this was a fine city, gleaming beacon of the Emperor's light, a center of industry. Now look at it. Commissar, I would like to see this city built up again. I would like to see towers and spires of gleaming white. I would like to see our men on parade routes, not tours of duty. I would like to see every city in this planet, every colony in this besotted, miserable system turn to the service and industry of the Imperium in the Emperor's name.
In the Emperor's name, sir.
But to see my dreams fulfilled, first we must wipe the system clean of these blasted Xenos and heretics and monsters and zealots. And to do that, this base, our center of command, must operate free of danger or harassment. Our troops are ready. Our tanks and our sentinels. And if the Emperor wills it, we will have functioning Baneblades. Tell me, Commissar, are we prepared? Or will we be lambs taken to slaughter? Well, we'll do what we can and pray for victory. The enhanced Basilisk cannon has been prepared by our tech priest engineers, has it not? It can be fired at will.
Very good, General.
It only requires an artillery spotter. We shall place our faith in the God Emperor.
In the Emperor's name, sir.
That will have to do the job. As always, we place faith in the Emperor.
General, they approach.
Let 'em. When will we have our Baneblades?
Crew and munitions are arriving by convoy. It will be several convoys before we have one operational.
Fire.
So we just have to keep them busy until then.
The enemy is upon us.
Get those up and running on the double!
We're under attack! Quick, man the sentinels! Sentinel! Build more, quickly! Load your laser guns, men, for the Imperium! Entering alert level 3. Prepare for Valkyrie transport landing.
Get water bomber production up and running. We need to hit them with everything we've got.
Marauder production
enemy
orders
fire.
confirmed, sir. Our bombers are closing in for close-range assault maneuvers. The Basilisk Magnus is cleared for action, General. It can now fire at any acquired coordinates.
And our spotters?
Awaiting orders, sir.
Get them on the field! In the Emperor's name, we don't have time to lose!
I'll see you now. General, the first convoy shipment's arrived.
Good. Are we ready to dispatch a Baneblade?
No, sir. Several more convoys will be required.
Farseer, a cloaked scout has been intercepted. No doubt he was acting as spotter to direct their artillery fire.
I'll see you now. Entering alert level 4.
Our mines are clear again.
94th Heavy Armor Company, to your tanks! General, the mechanized command that the convoys were being dispatched from has been taken out. Well, sir, there are no more mechanized commands. There will be no more convoys.
Golden Throne, protect us now. They've thrown a wrench in our Baneblade production. We're just gonna have to do without them. If they think that's all we've got up our sleeves... Officer, we fight until the last. Do you understand me?
Yes, sir.
Any soldier caught abandoning his post is to be shot without further questioning. We can still win this! Our Mars pattern buildings. Well, the convoys are useless to us now. All I fought for, all my work, crushed. Crushed! All the good men who gave their lives for this cursed, this blasted system! Though my army lies in ruins today, I have not done fighting, and I will remember who my enemies are.
Caerys, upon arriving in the Caerys system, was wary of the Imperial Guard presence there for several reasons. First, she could not have forgotten the treatment her predecessor, Farseer Taldir, had received on Lorne V and Cronus by the leaders of the Imperium. Second, the likelihood was far too great that the Imperial Guard had a hand in the waking of the Necrons on Caerys III, and possibly the Warp Storm on Caerys IV as well. Soon, the Farseer resolved to remove the 252nd Conservator Regiment from the conflict. The Imperial Guard's defensive position in the Dusala precinct turned out to be extremely well defended. But General Stubbs' men could not withstand the Eldar's superior tactics and skill in battle, and after a grueling struggle, were vanquished. In taking control of the region, the Eldar were able to repurpose some of the manufacturing pipelines, greatly improving the ease of construction and deployment within the battle arena. At the end of the bloody contest, only the Eldar army remained standing. The Necron had been returned to the depths of Caerys III, and all those who would meddle, pillage, or spread chaos throughout the galaxy were gone. Farseer Caerys had succeeded in her task. She had led her people among the branching roads of the future to the best possible of ends. The Ulthwi Eldar then scoured the planets of the Caerys system, destroying all vestiges of the war, machine and soldier alike. All, that is, except for those Imperial Guard troops who had somehow survived the defeat. These surviving guardsmen eventually contacted Segmentum Command. When fresh Imperial forces arrived, no trace of the victors could be found. What had taken place could not be explained. A new Imperial regiment was instituted, this time under greater ecclesiarchal surveillance, and rebuilding began. Strangely, however, all efforts to colonize the third planet met with inexplicable disaster. Eventually, embarrassed and unable to explain, the new Governor-General simply abandoned the planet. Occasionally, he would receive strange reports of slender, swift-moving figures and alien-looking arches, which would appear and then vanish again without a trace. It may never be known what first awakened the cold legions of the Necron from their vast burial vaults in the southern coast of Caerys III. Archives suggest that Imperial Guard survey crews may have been dispatched to coastal Emosa several months before the conflict. Others point to the strange and unknown influence of the warp storm, which could somehow have roused the deathless Necrons from their slumber. Out of the dry Emosan sands, an ancient complex emerged. Part burial ground, part power plant, part staging ground. As builder scarabs removed sands and restored structures to power, its clean-cut, symmetrical, and lifeless form emerged. It pulsed with the green glow of the strange power which fuels the Necrons. Vast reserves of it. Enough to drive an endless stream of monoliths and Necron soldiers. Anyone foolish enough to assail this unearthed necropolis would do well to heed that flow of energy. It is the source of the Necron's power, and if unchecked, there is little limit to what strength Necrons could marshal against their foes.
give you energy. Drink of it and awake. They shall meet their ends. They shall join the army of death.
Commander Stubbs, 4 monoliths have been sighted. It looks as though they're being powered up.
We'll have to put a stop to that. We can't have 4 of those things bearing down on us. There must be some way to cut off their energy supply.
Is that the best you've got?
You requested a psycho rifle!
Come on. We've identified small Necron encampments south and northwest of our base. They could do some damage if we left it unguarded.
We're taking fire!
The 252nd Conservator Regiment, under its former commanders, ever taken their census and survey duty seriously, the ancient Necron stronghold of Caerys would probably have been awakened hundreds of years prior to the Caerys conflict. Whether their failure to keep any presence on this wasteland planet was remarkable luck or dismal negligence is now debated heavily by Imperial historians. Invigorated under the capable command of General Stubbs, the Imperial Guard showed their best face, and everything that the ancient exhumed necropolis set against them were beaten back with ample munitions, perseverance, and heavy armor. Adapting the example set in the War of Cronus, General Vance Stubbs had cargo loads of bombs shipped to the Emosan Plains, and every inch of possible Necron catacomb was subject to multiple detonations. Following the victory, Stubbs forbade any future Imperial surveys of Caerys III. The 252nd Caravan Conservator Regiment proved the right to rule in no uncertain terms. General Vance Stubbs' ability to organize and reform this long-neglected army did not go unnoticed by the Segmentum top brass. His career could not fail to rise, in time, beyond the role of Governor-General to a small star system. For the time being, however, Stubbs busied himself and his proud regiment in post-war reconstruction. Thankfully, the warp storm vanished of its own accord. Caerys IV was suitable for resettlement. Only Caerys III did not feel the commotion of construction, mining, and terraforming. This planet was left largely barren. Who could say what else slept beneath those sands? In time, the system became a proud Imperial hub, and famed Guard academies turned out superior infantry, second only to Caerys itself. Caerys became home to proud human populations, warlike and devoted to the Emperor. In these times, it would be hard to imagine that a bloody war had been fought, or that heresy and chaos had ever been there.